Welcome to the service clinic at Low Country Harley-Davidson. I'm Doc Harley. Sometime this year I did a video on trying to control the heat on exhaust. And I talked about a product from DEI. I used it on my motorcycle and I thought I would share it with you. Well, there was enough interest about it that John from DEI called me and said, hey, can I send you a kit? And you can show the people how easy it is to install this. And I said, yeah, go right ahead. And so he sent me a kit, and I'm thinking, what bike do I want to put this on so I can get the best testing of this? And I went, oh yeah, the sheriff's department. Yeah, they idle a long time. They do parades, they do escorts. They get the motorcycle real hot. So I talked with Mark, who is the officer of this bike, and he brought it by for me to install this kit. And then we'll let him ride for a couple of weeks and get back with him and get an honest, truthful experience of this kit. So the box arrived, and let's open it up and see what we get. You get instructions, awesome. And then you get the insulating parts and the aluminum parts. Now, part of the instructions say wear eye protection and gloves, probably because of these units, but you will see that these pieces are made to fit the shape of the shield, and they have the matching set. I'm very much interested in this one over the Cat because that's what gets hot the most. So let's go over to the motorcycle and I'll give you a few pointers on starting this project. All right, first point, read the instructions, okay? They've taken the time to do some really good tips that you'd probably miss if you just said, oh, this looks simple, I'm just gonna do this. Read the instructions. Second one, work on a cold bike, okay? Don't work on it when you just got back from a ride and you're so excited you got this product and you want to install it. Wait for tomorrow, okay? Let it cool down completely. Number three, get your phone out. Why do you get your phone out, Doc? Because I want you to know where the clamps are and how they're put in, especially this back one. You've got one here that faces out this way, and you got this one here that faces out this way. You want those to go back the way you are. Then you have one here, you have one down here, and then you have two here. Now these kind of are the same. I don't have them going up, you have them underneath, but I want you to take pictures or write it down on a piece of paper where they're at. Now, when I do something like this, I undo the floorboard. You don't really need to, but here, I've done enough of the black ones that scratch real easily that I undo this. And it takes a 7/16 wrench and a 3/16 Allen, and you take this out of the way. And then I put cloth over. All right, now I feel a lot better. I've got a better chance of not scratching. What tools are you gonna need? Well, if you have just flat tip screwdrivers, a short one and a long one, you can do that. It makes it a lot easier if you have a 5/16 socket, quarter drive, or 3/8, whatever you got in the toolbox. And then if you're lucky enough to have a power tool, we always love power tools, it goes a lot faster. So I'm going to take these off and I'll meet you back at the table to show you how they're installed. All right, we're back at the table. I've laid out the parts, and that's important. All right, each piece has two parts to it. You've got the insulation and you've got the aluminum. All right, and you want to match up all the grooves that go with it. It's important. It's like this one here, it can go either direction, but it's important that you match up the cutouts. And yeah, I found in some of the package in shipping, they get a little bent. So you kind of straighten it out as best you can and put it like that. And each piece has a matching piece to it. Now, one of the hardest parts of doing this job is getting these out, especially this one here because it has the hump. I use a needle nose, and I had another person hold this, and I pushed up with my thumb and I kept bringing it out. This one's a lot easier. It all depends on how old your motorcycle is, okay? The older the motorcycle, the more these stainless steel clamps want to just keep their same position. This is a 23, all right, and this officer keeps it in excellent condition. So a lot of these are almost brand new. Now, I'm seeing that this goes this direction and this goes this direction, so that's what I want to do. I've undone it, and you rotate it out and put it to the side. And you rotate this one out and put it to the side. Now, you want the insulation part of it to go match, okay? And you want this to also match. And you see where the cutouts are? They're matching up with the areas where the clamp is at. So the way it works is match it up. The insulation part goes towards, because of course you've got the exhaust system, you want the metal part on it. So you match it up as best you can, and then you bend over the tabs. So I want that V to be there, I want this to be here, and I don't want to see it either after I do it. So you match it up and bend over the tab. And that will hold it in place while installation. Looks simple so far, doesn't it? Yeah. Now, if you have an aftermarket exhaust that they do not carry, and they have really expanded their inventory to do a lot of different exhaust systems, if you get the kit that I got, that I had to make the pattern, this is where it takes time to make the pattern, because you are going to bend this in. That's what caught me. So you want to press this in. And see, they have these cutouts, so it will make the curve. But the better you can get this in, the easier it will be to attach the clamps. So take your time and get it to fit down in as well as possible. Then the tricky part is getting this to start and go into the groove and come out the other side. Now, I would suggest you use a small little screwdriver or pick and be on the other side so you can help guide the worm clamp in to its place. You see what I'm doing here? I've got the screwdriver here, and I'm pushing this down as best I can and getting the clamp to come up past it. So really, the kit is easy to assemble. It's these clamps that, of course, you gotta fit past it. But once you get that set up, then you do the same thing on all of them. And take your time, because that's what these slits are for, is to get this to be perfectly in there. Now, I want you to be comfortable and do this. Take your time and do it right, because you don't want to see it. You just wanted to apply it. And I've used a rubber mallet or a piece of wood to form the aluminum in there so it lays nice and flat on it. Once you get that done, it's reassembly the same way you took it off. Let me give you a pointer I didn't do while I was over there before, is take this piece off first, because the other two pieces fit underneath it. So take the cat cover off first, then you can take the front or the rear pipe off first, and then start your assembly. The kit works I'd love to have your feedback if you guys have already installed it on your bikes, especially the aftermarket pipes, to see how they form and fit really well. But I'm gonna finish this job up, I'm gonna give it to the officer, and in about 2 weeks, I'm gonna interview him and get his opinion on, hey, does this system really help him in his job? And it'll probably help you on your Harley-Davidson. I'm Doc Harley, we'll see you next time. All right, if you've stuck around, I've got a few added tips. After installing these, I want you guys to know. The long cat one fit perfectly, easy to do. The small one was pretty good, and I wanted to show a trick that I did. You know how the instructions say to use a screwdriver to bring it up. What I did was I put this underneath and squeezed it really small. That way I could just lay the piece over it, open it up, and then put it in. So that was a lot easier than trying to fish it through and use a screwdriver to try to get it up. Also, you could take a pair of needle nose and bend these two tabs just slightly, so when they come up, you can grab it and come back. This is what I wanted to show you. This one was the most difficult. It has the most curves to it, and when you're putting down, they say to start at one end, which I did, and I got this, but by the time you get here, this is all pushing out. And it takes a lot of patience, and I trimmed. So don't be afraid to trim a little bit, but once this is pushed down, it'll all fit really nice. And in fact, I'll have my camera person follow me, and I'll show you the head pipe is on, and you can't see it. I mean, you have a little white here, but the second one is going to cover that up, and then we'll put the catalyst on that. You'll also notice that I took this floorboard mount out just to give me a better way of putting it on than trying to slide it past it. So I just wanted to give you those few little tips. Be patient. It works. You can do it. But that last piece here is going to take maybe a 6-pack instead of 2 beers, all right? So try your best. I think it's going to be worth it. In 2 weeks, I'm going to have the officer come in, and we'll get his honest opinion.